Okay, sorry, I had to do it. I had to do it. I had to do it.
We normally talk about works in the West, audience, but today we're talking about works in the East.
Well,
The
give me a moment
dragons in the
because
east.
I have to
Hmm.
freaking do things because
Hmm.
someone wanted to be 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
How
Um.
dare one of us decide that they should have a life?
Oh my
You know,
goodness. You know how
the nerve.
We had been planning this out for a long time. Okay,
Hmm.
it's true.
Yeah.
Um,
we had to
listen,
postpone the first time.
listen. If you're a
Hmm.
fan of Boruto X Sumire, you will not get that here because it's not.
If you like
Hey,
shojo horror and just shojo manga, you're in the right place because I got you.
Yeah.
hey, if you like delicious food being made from monsters, you're in the right place tonight, audience.
Yeah. But you know what? Let's just get started. You know what? Let's
Yeah,
just
let's get
Okay,
started, besties.
so go ahead. You do the honors this time, Witch.
Because it's technically my night. Welcome to a very 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 special episode of the Comic Fanatic Pod. We're here to talk about the anime, both old and new, because we can do that. I'm Richter, also known as the Witch of Jotunheim, pronouns they he, and also justice for fucking Dark Cat, bitch.
Okay, you're also here with me, Cryptid Seeker 415. You all know I don't give more than one intro a week, so I'm not giving a third. So
We got
go
two
ahead.
this week.
my name is Jake Tylenol. Maybe the one, the only, and the last of my kind. I'm also, maybe getting back into Pokemon. Well, we'll see how my journey takes me.
We'll see how it.
Together,
We
together,
are the
more
fanatics.
often, we still form the Fanatics, and we talk about the news and reviews of the week. And today, on this night, the special of nights, we will be talking about anime and manga. And we have quite the list for you today. We'll be talking about Boruto, Two Blue Vortex, Kaze, Two Ki no Uta, uh, Delicious in Dungeons, Pokemon Horizons, and the 100 Girlfriend Season 1 and Dark Cat as well.
And if we have time, I have a special OVA review I want to talk about.
If we have time. Hey, if you want us to look at some manga and anime, you can recommend it to the three other people here because I might not have time to look at it. But
Same.
we'll see.
Mostly just one person because only one
Ev-
of us is
ev-
brainwatted on the social media.
Everybody recommend One Piece to Jake.
Listen, no, I already
Come
said.
on.
If you recommend One Piece to me, just know I will only watch it when the One Piece is found, and
I
no
mean,
sooner,
that works for me.
no sooner, maybe later.
Uh,
Anyways, so we do have socials so that you can bother us on. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel because we don't do these special episodes often, but when we do, you know where to find us. You can also follow us on Twitter at Comic Fanatic 69. If you go on the Twitter right now, as I currently speak, you will find the full image of the thumbnail that I drew a couple months ago for the original one that we were supposed to do. But guess what? We're doing it now. So, if you're wondering, yes, it is loosely based off of Black Butler, because Black Butler was airing by the time that we were going to do our original live. So,
mhm.
if you want to follow me, your boy, if you just want to bother me, you can follow me on Twitter at Witch of Jotun with an E instead of a U because I said so. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at witch_of_Jotunheim. So you can find me there. Bother me there. If you want to find Cryptid, I don't know. He's chilling out in a dungeon somewhere eating some monsters. I don't know. But if
I
you want to
wish.
find Jake, he's currently in what's that region called? Paldea, I think that's what it's called. That's where Jake is.
The Paldea region, that is correct.
That's where Jake is right now. He's chilling out with the Sprigatito that he still can't pronounce the name of. So
Just
yeah, if you're wondering where I am currently in France in the 1800s, just chilling, watching a little blonde boy go through it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Tell Quasimodo while you're there, you deserve better.
Hey, I'm not in the part of France, bestie.
Gotcha. But anyway, yeah. With that out of the way, let's get to it, all guys. So let's start us off with. Hold on a sec.
Cryptid, it's you.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Have to post up the pic. Delicious and Dungeon audience. This is something I came across with while watching Netflix. Right. This was your D&D sort of setting, right? You know, Dungeons and Dragons, but with a little twist. You see, you come with like you follow this party led by Leos, right? He's like the leader. He's the knight. The party is consistent of him, Marcel, who's the elf, which go figure, she does all the magic stuff, and Chilchuck, who's the locksmith, who's he's an adult, but he's just like in a teen body, you
He's-
know.
Think of it. He's like a halfling. There you go.
Yeah, halfling. Yeah, that's the proper term. So yeah, they were on a quest. Unfortunately, Laos's sister, who also practices in magic, she got eaten by a dragon, and so now they have to go on a quest to go and save her because they can revive a life in that setting, but they have to do it they're on a time limit because if you don't have a body, then there's nothing to revive after that. You'll officially be dead. So, and what makes this a little bit interesting is the fact that in your D&D settings, right? You basically have like an invisible bag or whatever where you keep all your items and all that stuff. In this, you have to carry all your stuff. You know, you have to carry all your weapons. You have to carry all your money, and of course, you have to carry all your food, or just something that's neglected in a lot of these quests. You don't really think about that, but that's when this party ends up running into a dwarf by the name of Senshi. Oh my god, this guy's like my favorite freaking character in all of anime. He's a dwarf, but his main forte is cooking. He's been exploring these dungeons and all these parts in the world, just learning, studying, and finding new ways of cooking with the ingredients that he finds along the journey, some of which mean eating the monsters that they slay, you know?
Why not?
Exactly. You never think of that, you know? I mean, hey, wouldn't you want to eat like a giant final boss, like a dragon or whatever, or a giant snake? See how those tastes, you know? So yeah, he runs into them. They tell him about what's going on, that they're trying to save their party member, and his main interest is the fact that what, this can actually work for me too because this might help me with my dream. Because my dream is to cook using dragon meat. And I'm like, yes, yes. Who here wouldn't want to eat dragon meat? You know, it's exotic. It's I'm pretty sure it's high in protein, like a juicy, juicy steak. So yeah, um, it it's pretty straightforward onto that. There's
It's
this.
basically D&D the anime. There we go.
There you go. Sensui. Oh man, dude, I swear this guy he could teach a whole philosophy on cooking. Throughout their whole journey. Like uh, he has such great quotes like no matter what, meat can never be a substitute for bread and vice versa. But when you put those two together, it creates something delicious. And
And I'm just kidding.
yep, yep. But as the series goes on, of course, the party members are agreeing to eat his food, but they have certain limits. For one, we're not going to cook demi-humans. I think that's fair. Like, would anybody here want to eat a centaur?
No, I feel like you have to have some level of sentience before we can consider to eat you. But keep in mind,
Yeah,
since
yeah.
you eat cephalopods, and
Like,
those are pretty sentient.
yeah, any creature that's part human, I will be conflicted about eating them. Like even a mermaid. So
Someone would be
yeah.
into that. I mean, I'm reading a manga called Mad K, where literally in the first chapter, the main character wants to eat demon guts, and anything's possible if you put your mind to it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's true. So again, it's really straightforward. You guys have any opinions on this? Did you guys ever hear about this or watch
I
it?
heard about it. I've seen a lot of people ship the elf girl with the chick who became a chimera.
Y-
Um,
You know, you know
I
what?
see.
It's amazing. It's amazing that you mentioned that because watching this series, she is real. The elf is really motivated to save that girl. And it is implied that there might be some deeper feelings other than friendship in that. So if that's the case, you know what? Yeah, yeah. Go for it. They have groundwork for that.
I guess. I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she goes as
Also,
far. The elf.
Elf Senshi, is that his name? Like in that one
That's
episode where they all switched races, I thought that was really funny, and a lot of people were drawing a lot of fan art of him. So
Senshi is the dwarf, the one with all
yeah,
the hair, the short guy.
yeah.
Yeah,
I know. I know. I'm just didn't. I don't know anyone's names because I haven't watched it. I've only seen what
yeah,
people
that's
are
it.
drawing and doing on Twitter. Thanks,
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, for enlightening me on
Yeah.
the Sapphics and pretty elf men. Like I've seen enough pretty elf men. I know
Mm-hmm.
what's up.
Yeah, gotcha. I mean, I guess like a slight spoiler alert when which was mentioning the Chimera situation. Yeah, the party does end up finding the dragon. They do end up opening its guts, but unfortunately at that point, their party member is skeletons at that point. They came in a little late, but that's still enough to at least attempt to revive that person. But the only drawback to that is you need a good amount of flesh to revive that person. So they
And
end
there
up
was no
using
flesh on that body.
nope, just skeletons. But there was plenty of flesh in the carcass of the dragon, so that's what they ended up using. And you could put two and two together. Dark magic mixed with like a spell that's never been attempted before, you're bound to get some drawbacks. So, oh yeah, that was like also another thing I liked when they had that final battle between the party and the dragon. Like, essentially, the dwarf, like they ended up losing all their weapons. They all ended up breaking, but he's the only one who had a weapon that could actually pierce the dragon. It was his butcher knife. Yeah, like even though it was small, he kept it well maintained. It could cut through any flesh and cut through any bone.
I mean, it's
But
the
it,
job done, man. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
it's not
But
about the size that matters. It's how well it works. That's
yep,
not euphemism for anything.
yep, exactly. I mean, yeah, it was the size of a knife, but still, it was the best that they had. Oh, even for God's sakes, he carries around like a cooking bowl with him. That turns out to be a family heirloom of his that was actually made of a indestructible metal called adamantium, right? That he just decides to use for cooking all his ingredients.
Why
Like,
not?
I know, right? I mean, I just like to think like imagine just using Captain America's shield to cook all your stuff in, you
I mean,
know?
people probably have.
Yeah,
You just gotta
yeah,
wash it out. It's fine.
yeah, yeah. And
You could
because there's no
wash it.
leather, yep, and because there's no leather straps in it, and yeah, nothing contaminates the food. He's like,
Exactly.
this cooks evenly, and hey, it's a rare metal.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, as long as you like cover up the leather parts on Cap's shield, I think you could still use it as like or like take off the leather parts. You can
mhm,
cook your food and then clean it and then put it back on.
yep, yep,
Get creative.
yep. Oh, and yeah, because it was made of that special metal, that was the only thing that they had that could protect them from the dragon's fire breath.
We love that.
Hmm.
You should have stored that in a bottle or something. Use that.
Yeah, yeah, I know, right? So yeah, it's very creative in how they use in how Century implements his philosophies or his utensils during the quest. And he's just a chef, like. So all good, all good. Yeah. Any final thoughts on this before we move on, guys?
Sounds like
No, because this was your book.
sounds like an interesting watch read, but I
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't want You want to see delicious food for your eyes, man? Go watch this. I mean, heck, this pic should tell it all. See like a dragon's fruit around the background while they're all eating on a hot pot, man. Like, damn.
It is good art. I'll say this: anime knows how to make food look good. All right,
They do.
they know how to do it. So,
Yep.
All because of one meme. And there was like one meme about a freaking thing of cabbage or lettuce or whatever, and they were like, "Oop, we gotta make it look good."
I swear, I play Harry Potter, Hogwarts Legacy all the time, and my main forte is like growing a garden. Right? Is all the plants and that stuff. I always wanted to try cooking with that Chinese chopping cabbage. Adds a little bite to it. In the mix. Oh, that was also another thing I wanted to bring up. Like when Kevin Century, how creative he is. He actually is. He actually knows how to create golems, right? But he does something creative, and he actually puts a garden on the golems, almost like a symbiote process. His logic behind this is because like the golems themselves, he makes sure the fertilizer is good and perfect for them, but at the same time, the golems, because they're sentient, they'll want to maintain their body moisture and stay out in the sunlight if they could. So that's basically the best spot to be planting a garden in. Like that's creative. That's creative. So, alrighty
yeah,
then.
cool.
Okay. Alrighty then. I guess with that we can move on to the next.
To me, just kidding. No, it's to Jake.
Go ahead, Jake.
It's adventure time in the Paldea region with Pokemon Horizons Season 1. I have not finished this season at the time of this recording. Well, I guess this live broadcast that has not been recorded in any way, or hasn't.
I mean, we are being recorded, but
but I am happy to say for the first show to happen after Ash Ketchum, I actually really do enjoy this show. It's kind of a vibe. I don't really like the new main girl. Her name's Liko. And I talked about her before. She's too like cookie cutter anime girl to me. Everything she does, she's like, "Oh no, I'm putting people in danger. Oh no, can I do this? It's this for like 6 episodes with her, and I get sick of it. I'm like, listen, like put up or shut up.
When Pokemon does like female protagonists, they're all doing contests. Besides like Misty, they're all doing.
Jake, it's back to basics after Ash, man. What can you say?
No, I already watched Pokemon Advanced Battle. Dope theme. The first theme of that show is dope. That's the unbeatable theme for those who forgot. May is not that. May is a headstrong girl who might doubt herself a bit, but she pushes through. Okay, Liko is like, I don't know. She's so boring. And then we have, but she's to appeal to girls, and you know this by the way they treat her character. Like when she sees a Pokemon, she appeals to like, oh, it's so cute. Oh, I want to keep. Like she sees her witch. Which?
What?
What's the name of the cat?
Brigatito.
Aha! She sees her.
Christ, bro. So I'm gonna say the name of the fucking cat. Audience, we've been through this before with this man. He's not gonna get the name of this damn cat. I could be blackout. I could be like fully asleep during a live, and he's gonna be like, "Witch, say the name of the damn cat."
I'll call Witch on the phone. I'll be like, "Hey, yo, Witch, I need that cat's name."
Like, what the fuck is the name of the cat? The weed cat. What's the name of it?
But anyway, she sees
I'm over here
Spring.
mentally prepare for my first topic because it goes through it, and you're over here being like, "What's the name of the damn weed cat?"
Hey, Witch, I'm reading the manga. What's the name of this cat?
I'm reading one. I'm watching one of the freaking animes that you recommended. What's the name of the
cat? Yeah, but yeah. So she's with her cat. We'll call it Sprig, just so we can get through that review. And the first thing she talks about is how cute it is, and she likes how soft and cuddly it is. It's clear that she's coded to be an insert for young girls watching the show, basically. And that's why we have Roy, because he's for the boys. All right, he's a boy. So Roy,
and he'll remain a boy for the next 15 years.
yeah. So when we start the show, it's about, for those who don't remember my review before, the plot is such that Liko is an ordinary girl learning to raise her Pokemon when she gets whisked away on a huge adventure when an enemy gang called the Explorers is out to steal her grandma's pendant. She gets kidnapped by another group called the Rising Volt Tacklers, who are explorers who are looking to uncover the secrets and treasures of Pokemon around the world, just to explore, just for vibes, basically. And now Liko has to discover her destiny and this place and her place in the world. Essentially, along the way, she runs into Roy, our boy protagonist. Roy is a kid who lives on a remote island. He only attends Pokemon schools through virtual. Basically, they have Pokemon Zoom calls at this point. I'm not kidding.
This is a Pokemon COVID era.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. There's literally a scene where he's sitting down on his little Rotom Dex or whatever it's called, and he's in a Zoom call in a Zoom class with his Pokemon kids.
Rotom. It's like his iRotom. There you go. Yeah. It's kind of like an iMac, but Rotom.
Yeah, and so, but Roy, he aspires to be a Pokemon trainer, a Pokemon master, if you will.
On Zoom.
And the only thing he has to guide him is this ancient Pokeball that his grandpa gave him. Well, running into the Rising Volt Tacklers, he uncovers that this Pokeball is more than it seems to be as he unleashes a black Rayquaza from the Pokeball. And his current goal, at least as far as I am in the show, is he wants to hunt down this Rayquaza with the Rising Volt Tackler. So he's a part of the show as well. And again, along the way, they're going to be fighting the Explorers who will replace Team Rocket in this show, basically. What I like about the Explorers is that they are not just Team Rocket done over again. As a kid and even as an adult, one of the things I hated about the Pokemon anime is every episode Team Rocket's in it. And it pissed me off to no end.
Wow.
Hey, Jay, I have a question for you. I have a genuine question for you. So there's an artist on Twitter who draws ship art of Jessie and Ash's mom. What are your opinions on that?
I don't see enough of Ash's mom now. First off, I don't think Ash's mom is
actually really cute. I would recommend looking into that because it's actually really cute. So after this live, I want you to look it up.
Yeah. Hey, Hala. Welcome to the channel. Hala says, Pokemon trainers just like Ash Ketchum when he became a Pokemon master now. Well, Roy is supposed to be our replacement for Ash. Liko is a different character altogether. She doesn't even, she's finding enjoyment in fighting, but she's not in it for like the thrill of being a trainer yet. She's just in it for
She's just vibing.
She's vibing. But the Explorers are not like Team Rocket. They don't show up in every episode, and they're more competent. If the trainers aren't careful, they can actually win some battles. Liko and Roy don't know how to Pokemon battle. They've never done it before. In fact, what you start to notice, Liko learns one move with her Sprig Cat, and that move. And that move she spams for 6 episodes. She only uses that one move constantly for like the first 6 episodes, basically. And it's Leafage. And she'll use it in creative ways, but at some point it gets to this point where it's like, Liko, that's not going to win you fights. You can't just use the same move over and over again and hope to win real battles, basically. And so she has to be taught how to Pokemon battle, essentially. And so does Roy, too.
She's got to go to school.
No, she's already going to school, but she's been drafted into this gang of explorers that's going to teach her the real Pokemon battles. Okay? And I do like the side cast too. The Rising Volt Tacklers, as dumb as their name is, they're a really cool crew. They got good vibes to them. Like, I want to be with this crew. I want to go exploring with these people. And they're led by a Captain Pikachu. Yeah, and what you're probably thinking is like, how does that work? Well, listen, he's got good vibes. Okay, I don't know how to explain.
Bring back the Squirrel Squad.
It's an actual Pikachu. It's an actual Pikachu with the captain's hat.
Well, Jake, they need to keep their mascot after all.
No matter what it takes. But but his trainer is named Freed, and he's a professor from what the show is showing so far. But he's an adventurer. Like, he likes to get in the mix. His team is only a Pikachu and a Charizard, but they're the most based Pikachu and Charizard I've ever seen in the show. Like they're so cool. Like I love watching.
Damn, it'd be like
I wonder why they went with I wonder why they went with Gen 1 Pokemon.
Well, who knows? Who knows? But he's such a cool, laid back character, adventurer type, and he's always looking at the kid's best interest. And I like every time he's on screen and every time he's battling, like even though he's not the strongest, he's the strongest on the crew, but he's not the strongest in the series. But I always love seeing him battle because he thinks a lot tactically. Like at the very start, you see him use his Charizard because he's in an open area, right? And that's supposed to be like his tank Pokemon, but he'll use Pikachu if he needs to be like in a smaller area, a small condensed space. And he needs to use specific moves or tactics he wants to use, or he might combine the two in certain ways. That makes it more interesting. So I like watching him battle. And then we have some of the other casts who don't really battle as much. We have Orla, Ludau, Molly, Murdoch, and they're good supporting cast. And I'm looking at their names too because I can't remember them all. But I believe Molly, she's the healing specialist on the team, and she even gets an arc in the show. About why she wants to heal Pokemon, but she doesn't want to work at a Pokemon center. She just wants to heal wild Pokemon specifically. So like you get the whole arc about why that is.
We love that for her.
Yeah, so she wants to be different as well.
Does she,
she's like, I'm built different. I want to heal Pokemon, but wild Pokemon.
Question: does she have any resemblance to Nurse Joy?
She has pink hair.
Okay. So they have to keep some consistency, I guess. Like, yeah.
One of my standout characters right now I love is Dot. So she is like kind of the tech expert on the team. For the longest time, you never see her face. She gives them information that can help them and everything, but she's locked in this room behind this door, basically. And she has this Pokemon. Okay, so. Which I'm actually being serious. I don't know the name of this Pokemon. I keep forgetting its name.
Can you send me a picture?
It's the I can't send a picture of this quickly enough, but it's the bird Pokemon. It's white and it has blue hair. It's a starter.
I'm going.
Wait,
I think I know who you're talking about. Quaxley, I think.
I think so. Yeah, Quaxley. Yes. That's it. Yes.
I'm gonna double check this. Hold on.
Yeah. You can see a bit of Quaxley in the poster. I think that's his name.
White, it's a duck, right, with blue hair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with the water hair, and it evolves into cunt. Yeah.
What? That's his name?
Into a cunty bird.
Oh, I guess.
Okay. Audience, there's only so many names you could give the Pokemon out there.
At this point, you just got to start naming them what they are.
Yeah.
Did you see the final evolution of Quaxley?
Okay.
Yes. Okay. But yeah, it's Quaxley. So she has a Quaxley. So the first start. So when they start putting more attention to Dot later in the show, and I like this arc. Liko and Roy want to make friends with Dot, but Dot won't leave the room, and so they do the thing that kid shows like to do, where the extroverts like to pressure the introverts into being their friends, basically, and eventually the introvert gives it. That's the trope. It doesn't happen this way here. Actually, I was impressed. What happens is they try that at first, and then Liko starts to understand that Dot doesn't want to come out of her room. She doesn't want to be her friend. In fact, the first time Dot speaks to her, it's literally her just telling Liko, "Listen, get the fuck away from me. Stop talking. I don't want to be your friend.
Fuck alone. I'm trying to stop my Quaxley, bitch."
Yeah, she just goes off. She's like, "I don't want to be your friend. I think you're terrible as a Pokemon trainer. I don't care about you. I don't know you. Go away from me." And Liko's like, "Oh my god, you talk." So, what winds up happening is over the course of the series so far, Liko doesn't pressure Dot anymore. What she does is she leaves the door open for Dot to make friends with her. So they have a picnic episode, and everyone really wants Dot to join, but Liko understands that Dot's not going to come out of that room on her own. So she leaves. So she goes with the chef, and she leaves supplies so Dot can have her own picnic while everyone's out of the ship. She can come out of her room and have the picnic by herself, basically.
I love that. That's chill. I wish people would do that for me. No, they're like, "Let's go out." I'm like,
Yeah, and it showed Dot that, like, listen, Liko's not going to force it. If you ever want to be friends with her, she's open, but that doesn't mean she's going to stop caring about you. And I thought that was really nice. That was a nice message, basically. And that was the first time I was like, okay, Liko, you won me over as a character a little bit. All right, whatever. But Dot also, there's a joke too because Dot runs a YouTube channel basically, and it's Liko's favorite YouTube channel, and Liko thinks that Dot is just a fan of that YouTuber. She has no idea that on the same ship she's in, her favorite YouTuber is there basically. And so there's a running gag where every time she comes close to figuring it out, she just rationalizes like, "Oh, Dot can't be that YouTuber. She just has the costume of the YouTuber, basically."
Mhm.
And so that was a joke. I actually liked. Like the humor between the two is like really good. But the evolving plot, the evolving stakes of the show, I'm really enjoying. I'm really enjoying where the plot's going so far. And I'm really interested to learn more about the explorers because the hierarchy in the organization is not so cut and dry. So like I said, I highly recommend giving this series a chance. I have been told that season 2 is such an improvement. It is constantly trending in Japan. So
Damn, not constantly trending in Japan.
yeah, so I can't wait to get to season 2. I think I'm halfway done with part 1, with season 1. And I will keep everyone informed if the show gets better. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So listen,
Just remember, Audie.
I will make this argument that this show is better than a lot of the Ash seasons, I would say.
Oh, you had to go there.
You just started fights.
Listen, I like Ash and everything, but those episodes are way too formulaic for me. I was rewatching.
You can only do so much in like 13 or so years, man.
Yeah, I was rewatching some Pokemon like of the Ash generation, and a lot of it's just like I just know exactly what's gonna happen as it happens, basically. Like before it happens.
I still think the black and white seasons and the X and Y seasons are the best seasons.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think Diamond and Pearl is one of the best because Paul is the best rival.
Fair enough. I think it's because I have nostalgia bias with the black and white and X and Y anime because I was so young when those shows came out in my Pokemon era, you know?
That's fair.
Like, for me, those two are my eras, you know?
Yeah, I don't know the lore of Ash all that well, but if you see one Pokemon season, it's always going to be the one you grew up with. I think that's okay for Pokemon with the Ash seasons. But I will say this.
Jake, I'll tell you what Hank Hill told Bobby when he said the Bible seemed boring. I'm sorry that the greatest story ever told doesn't have enough Hollywood twists and turns for you.
I wouldn't say the Bible's the greatest story ever told, but you know, it's.
You get what I'm saying.
I will say this. Did you guys know that Paul came back?
I heard he was going to be a gym leader, wasn't he?
I think so. He comes back in the last series, I believe, and he challenges Ash to another Pokemon battle, but Paul is a lot nicer to his Pokemon than when we last saw him. Like, even when his Pokemon lose,
that sometimes.
Even when his Pokemon lose, he's like, "You did a good job. Next Pokemon, get out."
Oh, come on. He kept his eye on the. He kept his eye on the ball. He wasn't in this about friendship or anything. Audience, when I got into Yu-Gi-Oh, right? You know, I love the show and all that stuff. I believe in the whole, hey, friends and friendship and the power of, you know, the people you're with and this and that. But when I went to an actual first Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, all that didn't matter for crap, you know. Everybody was in it, like, you know, meta decks and all that stuff, and I got my butt kicked by all of them. No. You lied to me, morals of the 90s.
Listen, say what you want, but in that final battle with Ash and Paul, that what's it called? That Shemshar, what was it? Infernape at the time?
Infernape, yeah.
He beat Paul's ass, okay? That was the power of friendship and spite on his side.
Yeah, well, let's not forget, Paul has, like, what, 5 wins against Ash, and Ash just got 1 win? Like,
he got the most important one, though. It was the most important win of the run.
Yeah.
It's like your older sibling or whatever lets you win a game. Just one game.
Well, I do ask this. If you really break it down, Ash won because of Paul, though.
Oh.
Because if you think about it, that Infernape was spite driven to beat Paul because Paul beat the dog shit out of him constantly. If it wasn't for Paul, Ash wouldn't have won. I think that's fair to say.
Hey, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. But yeah, that's Pokemon Horizons. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend giving it a chance. Like I said, it still is a Pokemon show at the end of the day. It's not gonna be like the most intense anime out there, but it's an enjoyable time. It's enjoyable vibes. It's enjoyable vibes. I recommend it. So you know, there you go.
Well, are
Yeah.
y'all ready to be depressed now and
Yes,
angry?
Okay.
that's all we
Because
do.
that's
During
my topic.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So for my first book, as you can obviously tell on the screen, I'm talking about a 1970s manga called Kaze to Kino Uta, or The Song of Wind and Trees, which was written and illustrated, because you know how a lot of mangaka do their thing, by Keiko Takamiya, who was a part of the Year 24 group. And if you know anything about the history of shoujo, you know that the Year 24 group is like that group. It's like Clamp. And if you know anything about Clamp, you know what's good. So basically, as one of the first BL works to ever like get published, it had a lot to like live up to, I guess you could say, for being one of the first. So basically, it's about a tragic romance between two characters who are on the screen right now. So the blonde one is named Gilbert, and the brunette is named Sergey, or however the fuck they pronounced it in the fucking anime. Don't worry about it. I'm mostly going to be talking about the OVA because I haven't finished the manga. There's a lot in the manga. But from what I read, I can still make comparisons. So basically it's about Sergey going to this like to this all boys boarding school in the late 19th century in France. So that's basically the basic premise. So he goes to this school. He becomes roommates with this guy named Gilbert, who has like a reputation, how do I put this lightly, for selling his body to other people at the school. So fun. And like, keep in mind, Sergey's like, I don't give a fuck what you do on school grounds. Just keep it out of our fucking room, dude.
Okay.
And you know what? I agree with that. If you're gonna have sex with someone that I don't know, can you make sure it's not in the room where I'm 3 feet away from you trying to go to sleep? Like, but like, no, going back to it, Gilbert goes through a lot in this book, and so does Sergey too, as like our focal point character. So of course, like, we see it all from his eyes. But like, Gilbert, he goes through it. Like, if you do a 2-second Google search, you know what happens to this guy. And it's not pretty. But we know that Sergey tries to help Gilbert in any way that he can. And in a way that does lead into the tragedy of what happens at the end of the manga, which, like I said, it's the great irony of wanting to Google things but wanting to know what happens. I already know what happens, but I want some of the differences that I wanted to bring up from the OVA to the manga. Like, one, the OVA is going to be shorter than the manga, so they're not going to get through everything that we want to know. They're like, read the damn manga. It came out a decade prior to this OVA, which came out in like the late 80s, I think. Do not quote me. Do not quote me on that. So they cut out a lot of Sergey's lineage, because he is the son of a French viscount and a Roma woman who at the time happened to be a prostitute. I don't know what her relationship with that job is now, because she's dead. Yeah, don't think about it too hard, please. So we don't really get to see much of like the racism that he has to like deal with in the OVA, but we do definitely see it in the manga, because the art that you see right now doesn't really depict that all that well, but like inside the manga you can tell a little bit. Like in the first chapter, where Sergey's on the train on his way to the school, a little girl like comes into his his little cabin. Accidentally, it happens to the best of us. It happens. And basically, the mom is like, stay away from her. Like, she can get up by herself. And the little girl's like, why is his skin so dark? That's his mother's genes right there, bestie. Like, he got the looks from his mom, but everything else from his dad. I don't know much about the mom. Like, bet she was a great woman. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But like, we also they also changed how Sergei meets another character who is like a main character in this named Pascal, who does not like the fact that they have to take Latin. He's like, I want to learn science. I already know Latin. Latin's a dead language. It was like a whole thing. Don't worry about it. It was really funny.
Yep.
So basically, in the manga, how Sergei meets Pascal is some random students decide they wanted to do a room inspection, and basically they're like gonna basically trash his like Sergei's room, but Pascal's like, hey, only for like upper like very specific group of people, like the class president gets to fucking do that, you know. So basically that's where he meets Pascal. But in the OVA, the reason why he meets Pascal is Gilbert is sick for some reason. I mean, like, if you know, you know. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. I'll like give him some medicine. He'll be fine. I'll resuscitate him. It's fine, you know. I want to get into this real quick. I did bring it up before, but I really need to give some trigger warnings. This is a 70s manga.
No.
So just letting you know that you could take the story out of the 70s. You cannot take the 70s out of the story, even if the plot is set in 19th century France. Okay. So quick trigger warnings for themes of SA, racism, homophobia, and grooming and incest. So giving you that now.
All that in this one topic, which wow.
In this one book. Like I said, this was one of the first like BLs, or more specifically Shonen Ai works. So it took the author a long time, like a while, just to get this book published because of all these like dark themes. And I want to bring up one of them. There's a character in this book named August Bow. He needs to be on a federal watch list. He needs to be put on a list. He is on a list of, I'm just going to say it outright, he's a fucking pedophile.
Damn.
He is a sadistic, gaslighting, abusive pedophile to his nephew, who, if you're wondering who his nephew is, it's Gilbert. Gilbert's he has dealt with so much because of this man. And for what? His art? Like, I rewatched there's a scene in the OVA where it's August and this character who's like an upperclassman. I would like to say more of like the assistant principal in a way of the school, named Rosemarine. Where Rosemarine basically calls him out a little bit, being like, yo, this quote unquote little hobby of yours is not good. And August gets pissed off. And he's like, oh, make sure like no one, like this kid gets no help for anything, you know. It's we have to make sure that he suffers and all this other stuff. And you're just like, you're sitting here and you're like, this ain't gonna end well. Like this, like Gilbert got heavily abused and groomed by this motherfucker to a point where, spoiler alert for the end of the manga, so Sergei and Gilbert move into the city together, which we all know that it's not going to end well. And Sergei does everything he can to help Gilbert in any way that he possibly can, you know, even if it's just holding each other while in bed, you know, not doing anything, which that's what happens at the end of the OVA. And so basically Gilbert can't get over all the trauma that he faced. So because due to all that trauma and the fact that he started doing drugs and everything and all that other stuff, and probably was doing it before, but you know what I mean, he basically gets run over by a horse-drawn carriage thinking that it was August, and he dies.
Wow.
And you're sitting here and you're like, oh my god, this poor child, what the fuck is wrong with this asshole? He needs to be put on a list. He was probably one of the first to deal with this, but he was definitely not the last blonde boy to deal with this. Two good examples that I can think of that kind of relate to this is Ash from Banana Fish, because he dealt with a similar thing. He's also dead, canonically. And there is a character from an anime that just dropped called Twilight Out of Focus, one of the main characters. We also learned that he was also groomed by a elder of his, like a teacher.
Mm,
So
mm,
even though this anime is not as popular anymore, the influences are still there.
mhm,
It's like it's the great irony of this whole manga and anime where we learn what happens to Gilbert, but for the longest time Sergei does not know and he's just like trying his best.
yep,
And it ends tragically regardless. And that probably like tells the audience like the state of like our world in that way. I don't know if that was the intention of the author, but like here's the thing. Here's the thing. If I ever see August Bow in real life, it's on site. It's on site. Like he fucked
mhm,
over this child for no reason. Like even if um even if Rosemarine wanted to help, damn well he can't because of August. Sergey wants to help but can't. So like he's just like doing what he can. And another thing that's different from the manga, from my knowledge to the OVA, is that the whole OVA is basically just a flashback, and Sergey goes back to the school as an adult and basically just remembers everything in the OVA, like him meeting Gilbert, all the stuff that they have to deal with together. Because, like I said, Gilbert has a reputation of being, for basically like selling himself, I guess you could say, to some of the other students.
mhm,
But keep in mind, Gilbert doesn't want the sex; he just wants to be loved. And we know that Sergey can give him the love, but at the same time, is Gilbert ready for that, Like, he went through so much, even as a child, like, even as a young child. But, like, in conclusion, I've enjoyed the manga so far. As I've only read the first volume so far, but I enjoyed it. The OVA is pretty good, even though it's pretty short, and they change, like, a couple things here and there. And for some reason, the eyes are different for several characters. I don't know why. Like the side, they were like, we're not gonna stay consistent with the eyes, so you're gonna have to live with
mhm,
it. In conclusion, August, it's on site. I'm gonna beat your ass. Sergey and Gilbert deserve better. They deserve to be happy. And yeah, go read this manga. And if you want to like have a bit of historical BL moment, go read this manga.
mhm.
Just remember the trigger warnings. Oh yeah, and August is Gilbert's uncle, by the way. That's
Got
that's it.
you.
Yeah, that's Kazetsuki
Alright.
no Uta. Yeah, sorry for having the depressing topic. I'm gonna be angry later, so I need to get that out of there. Start my rage now.
Yeah.
No problem, man. No
It
problem.
sounds like the next topic is more goofy. Is that correct? Is that a
Oh yeah.
Jesus
Okay,
Christ,
so
how did we
yeah.
go from Pokemon to whatever I was talking about to this? What is this?
Okay. All right. So the next topic is the one I have. It's called the 100 girlfriends that really love you. Okay, so if you're into anime or manga, you're bound to come across like what's known as a harem series, right? But this one, look, I've
Oh my
watched a
god.
few. I mean, I recall the first one I ever watched was Tenchi Muyo, right? And they're good for their novelties, but then after a while, you start thinking to yourself, okay, eventually you're going to have to choose somebody to settle with. You know that, right? Like, I think it was like Rosario Vampire that really just made me look at this and like, okay, you kind of have to lay it down to the rest of the group. Like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna be with this person. Sorry, but like, you gotta find someone else because, in a Rosario Vampire, right? The main character is going to end up with a vampire, but you had two other people. One was a succubus who literally will die if she loses her love, and the other one was a snow girl who her people are kind of relying on her to settle with somebody because they're an endangered species apparently, and they lose the ability to give birth in their in their early 20s apparently. So I'm like, dude, no matter what, the scenario is going to be you're going to break someone's heart, you know? And coincidentally, like, a lot of them tend to end their series before like the main character makes a decision, right? You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, I guess that's like their writer's way of saying like, okay, we'll leave it ominous at the end. So whatever ship you were shipping for, um, just think of that as your ending, you know?
I know these. To be fair, I know the whole point of harem anime is to appeal to the teenage boy experience. I don't know. I feel like it's like, but they never end up with anybody. Like they really
So,
do.
Yeah, that's why I'm.
fun fact. I want to give a quick fun fact. For the longest time, harem anime was a mostly shojo thing, and now it's for all the boring ass, basic ass dudes out there.
Yeah. But yeah, that's also what I'm saying. Like, well, to Jake's point, he never ends. The series never shows that person ending up with anybody. But in this scenario, oh yeah, we're treated to the main character. His name is Rentaru, and he's a high schooler, and the series literally starts off with him getting rejected by this one girl he was trying to ask out, and it literally turns out that was actually the 100th reject he's ever had in his life. So you're like, God dang, dude, that's gotta be demoralizing, like you ask up to 100 people out and they all reject you? Like, god damn.
You
Like,
couldn't get one for a pity date?
yeah, I know. Like, come on. How's that going to affect your self-esteem, So he ends up going to like this one temple or whatever. Like, I guess it's known for love or whatever. So he does pray that he'll end up with somebody, but then that's when the love god comes out, and he breaks it down to Rentaru that, my job is to like make sure everybody has a soulmate, but I made a little mistake with you. Everybody's supposed to have one soulmate, but for you, I accidentally put 2 zeros in your soulmate list. So you technically will have 100 soulmates. Yep, 100 girlfriends. And if you don't end up with them, they'll each die a horrible, agonizing death. So you're like, oh, wow.
What the fuck?
I know, right?
I zone out for 2 seconds because I'm reading the Wikipedia page on an anime I just talked about, and that's all I hear. Like, what?
Yeah, but granted, for the character Rentaru, no, he actually does. As impossible as it sounds, he loves every one of his girlfriends equally and intensely. Like, but this doesn't go any farther than like first base or whatever. There's a lot of fourth wall breaking humor in this, where Rentaro's like, okay, I can't, this isn't that sort of uh, series where I'll go all the way with them, because he's still a high schooler after all. So, yeah, and the 100 girls don't pop up like immediately, right? It is a slow build to all of them, right? I mean, I think right now the series is at like chapter 180, and Rentaru barely has 30 girlfriends at this point. So I'm just thinking to myself, will this series live up to his title? Will we eventually see him make it to his 100th? Don't know, but it's a fun ride to see. And one thing I like about all the characters of his girlfriends, right? They all are like a trope of an anime girl, I mean, you have the chibi, you have the brainy one, you have the damn it, what's the name of that trope where you have that one girl that likes you but doesn't express it except beating you up, beating you up. Yeah, that one. Yeah, you have that one, and you have all those sorts of tropes. So I would think of like if you're a fan of anime in general, you'll find it funny seeing all those tropes being shown in here. I mean, if you're going to create like 100 characters, you're kind of going to have to. So yeah, it's a comedy, and Rentaru does end up with all of them. So this is one of those rare harem situations where the main character does settle somebody. or in this case, a whole lot of somebodies.
So,
So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on this?
it's what I was gonna be into because I don't really like. You have to sell me on a novel premise for a harem anime or a harem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love it for the
do harem
goofiness
the
of
way I
it.
used to, man.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah,
read gay manga.
I just like it for the goofiness. I mean, funny you should bring that up, Witch, because like there's literally one girlfriend, right, that he has, where the only thing that those two have in common that they're passionate about is their love for one of his other girlfriends.
Real story, by the way. This is why fan service doesn't work on me and anime a lot because it's like they like showing like women, like with like big boobs and all that stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but they're not gonna do anything. Like, it's like, it's like
I feel like that's why I like to read a lot of manga or watch anime that's like done by women because they do fan service pretty tastefully a lot of the times. Not to say all of them because there are exceptions to everything.
Yeah, like Sailor Moon. Or
Mhm.
Shush, we don't have to get into that. But like, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like they
Mhm.
usually do it well. Because they know what people want, especially what like a more femme audience like. Literal like. So yeah, that's just my impact on this. I can't really do harems. A lot of them just feel the same to me. I think like
Yeah.
one of the only few that I actually like really liked is like especially when I was younger was Oran High School Host Club.
Not peak.
I tried showing my mom that anime and she couldn't grasp the idea that the twins were playing a bit. They were doing a bit. We all know it.
No, listen, Oran Host Club is peak, and the fact that the anime didn't end where the manga did is a damn shame. It's a crime against
Dude, I need a freaking reboot. I need a reboot. I don't not want a season 2. I want a reboot.
It's true.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, it's just like I don't know, harem anime just never. Like I said, first off, because even as a teenager, once you get through like 2 animes of fan service, you're like, wait a minute, this is never gonna mean anything. Like, why am I even looking?
I'm just looking at this for the comedy aspect of it. I mean, like there comes one point, right, where like all the girls are like, having a conversation, this and that, and then this one random girl comes up and she's like, she knows everybody's name. She like, she's acting as if like, hey, I'm part of the group. Like, hey, I know you. Your hobbies, you're so into this sort of particular hobby, this and that, and everybody's like, they don't want to say it, but who are you? And I'm like, huh? Yeah, let's just play along because like at this point there's so many here that you can't remember everybody's name. Only for Rentar to come in and say, "Who are you?" And then all the girls are like, "Yeah, I knew it!" Like, yeah. So, yeah.
What is that? If you enjoy that type of thing, this might be your book for you. So,
Gotcha. Alright then. To do with that, let's go on to the next one. Hold on a sec.
Oh, Jake, it's you.
It's time to go back to when being a ninja mattered. And Boruto, 2 blue Vortex.
I'm not. I can't.
No, listen. Boruto gets a bad rap, but I watched the anime, at least the first 100 episodes. Okay, it's an okay anime. I didn't read the manga. I just know what happens to Blue Vortex. But apparently the manga is a lot better because what the anime does is so the anime is a amalgam of things. It's the novels, it's filler, it's also the manga all put into one, and all of it's canon.
That would be such like sensory overload for me, man.
Yeah, and everything that's in the anime is canon to the manga, but not everything in the manga will reference the anime. So that's what I'm saying. But in the anime, you get some cool things, like you get to see how characters come up with moves that they use in later arcs. Basically, there was like a whole plot about that. Now, did I need an episode about it? No, but it's cool that it's there. There was also you get to see novels. If you were fans of the Naruto light novels, like Sasuke Retsudan, And there was even one about Sarada when she first meets Sasuke. I don't remember what that one's called, but that you can see those adapted, and those are pretty good. I actually like the Sarada novel, even though it makes Sasuke look like an asshole. But
But
you
isn't he
know,
an asshole anyways?
that's true. It is true.
Yeah.
But they even
Deadbeat
adapted.
dad. Deadbeat dad disguising himself as saving the world. Like,
And they adapted a story. Apparently, I didn't know this was an adaptation, but I really did enjoy it in the anime. There was a story that was adapted where Naruto comes up with a day where parents get to take off and just spend a day with their child. Just have it. Just stop working. Just be with your kid, basically. And this is where you really got to see. I think this is when they started like fixing Sasuke's character to me. I love how much he wants to look like a badass in front of his daughter, but his daughter doesn't care.
yeah.
So, there's an episode, so it's like a 3-parter, and one part's about Sasuke and Sarada. And in this episode, Sasuke doesn't know how to bond. He doesn't talk to his daughters. He doesn't know what to do, but he wants his daughter to think he's cool. And so so Kakashi comes up and he's like, "Looks like Uncle Kakashi's got to give you some advice. Look, I have this book. Maybe you heard of it called Makeout Tactics, and I know how to impress a woman with this book. So you follow these steps, and you'll impress a woman like no other." And Sasuke keeps trying to do these tactics on his daughter, and his daughter's like, "What are you doing? You're so lame." And it gets to the point where Sasuke threatens to kill Kakashi, basically. But like I said, Boruto has a lot of like good stuff in it. I think it's a bad rap. Some of it's deserved, some of it's not, but it is what it is. But we're not here for that today. We're here for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. And how is this story? This is the long-awaited time skip in the Boruto story. And this has been prophesized since the first episode of the anime, and now we get to see it come to fruition, and I think it's really good. I actually highly recommend it. Basically, the plot is, spoilers for the original, Kawaki has made a wish using the help of this girl named Ada, and she has rewritten people's memories so that people think that Naruto's real son is Kawaki, and Boruto is Kawaki instead, basically.
What?
Yeah, if that makes sense. So, like, basically, the people remember Kawaki and Boruto in reverse for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And at first, people, when they think about it, they're like, "Well, that doesn't make any sense." I remember Boruto. You know, they try to remember it, but the harder they try to remember it, the more their brains will justify it to make sense. Essentially, this is also important because Kawaki has, before this wish happened, Kawaki sealed Naruto and Hinata in a separate dimension. So people thought that Kawaki killed Naruto. Now people think Boruto killed Naruto, basically. So he's public enemy number one. The only two people who know the truth is Sarada and Sumire, who are both, coincidentally, they're both in love with Boruto, and that's probably why they're affected. So, Sasuke was convinced that Boruto is Naruto's real son because Sarada was pleading so hard with him about it that she unlocked a Mangekyo Sharingan.
Okay.
And Sasuke was like, "Okay, well, shit, I guess." So, and so Sasuke has gone rogue again and has now been training Boruto from the time skip, basically. Shikamaru is now the Hokage, basically. So,
did we get his face in the mountain?
No, I don't think so. I think Kakashi should have been Hokage. Even Sakura should have been Hokage at this point. But I don't know why Shikamaru's Hokage.
And over there's Konohamaru weeping in the corner.
Konohamaru is useless in Boruto. There's no defense.
Yeah.
He has a cool design and that's it. Okay. Speaking of cool designs, since Naruto has been away, the Leaf Village decided now is time to wear drip. Because everybody is like a fashion icon in the Leaf Village these days for no reason. I don't understand it. If you look up Boruto Blue Vortex, look at the designs on these characters. They are dripped out for no reason. I love it. Every panel, everyone's wearing the most stylish clothing they can find in their closet. And it makes it really good to look at. Some of these I just look at like posters, basically. Like the one we have on screen with Boruto and Himawari. I want that on my wall. Like that looks so good. But yeah. So basically, now that the year's time skip has happened, Kawaki is preparing because he knows someday Boruto will return. And also another villain from the original series is coming back as well. But while everyone's preparing for the final arc, Boruto's come back to tell you, no, I'm actually like stronger than everybody now. So like, stop worrying about any problems in the series. I'm the strongest here. Boruto has an ability now. He has a new Rasengan cryptid. You might want to know. I don't think you know this.
Okay.
He has a new Rasengan.
I didn't know that.
Okay, it's called Rasengan Uzahiko. Okay, this is not your daddy's Rasengan. Okay, this is even your granddaddy's Rasengan. Okay, what this Rasengan does is, if it touches you, if you touch Boruto while he has it equipped, you feel the Earth's rotation.
Huh.
That makes sense to you? So basically, you know how we're rotating on the Earth? Imagine if you felt the feeling of rotating on the Earth, basically.
Okay.
That doesn't just happening. It basically makes you so sick you'll die. And the only one who can turn it off is Boruto. That's how overpowered he is. On top of this, he has the flying Raijin that his grandpa has, so he can teleport across the Leaf Village with ease. He has Toad contracts. And he also has like a bunch of myriad of other abilities. He's basically the strongest ninja. He fights Kawaki no difficulty. When they first meet up and they have like a sparring match, he no diffs Kawaki. Basically, that's how strong he is at this point.
Wow.
No one can really touch Boruto at this point. And what I like about this too is that he doesn't spend time explaining to people. Like, he doesn't really care if people think that he's Naruto's kid. He doesn't care. He's just here to protect the Leaf Village. So he really does feel like a rogue ninja. Basically, he is a ninja at this point. He goes in, he saves the day, and then he leaves. And I really like that aspect about the story. We also have new villains, spawns of the Ten Tails, the Claw Grimes. Basically, they all have personality traits of different ninjas throughout the series. One of them has Sasuke's personality because Sasuke was infected. Basically, that's why he's not in the series anymore. Now.
R.I.P. Sasuke.
R.I.P. Sasuke again. And these people are, again, they're so strong that it takes like whole teams of ninjas to fight. But Boruto comes in and he's like no diffing a lot of these. But like I said, like we're seeing as we're seeing the status quo shift, the series is reminding you that Boruto is like might be stronger than his dad at this point. Basically, he is that ninja, for lack of a better terms. We do get a lot of character moments too with Himawari as well. Himawari who's shown potential since her first appearance. She is now the new Jinchuriki for the Nine Tails Fox. This is because Kurama has reincarnated inside of Himawari for reasons that are not fully explained. But it's not just that. She is also the perfect host for Kurama, as we find out. She's a better host for Kurama than Naruto, his mother, and those before her, basically.
No. Wow.
Yeah. So where that will lead, we're not sure, because she gets into her first fight. Because you're thinking like, oh, she's gonna whoop ass, because she actually has like a Nine Tails cloak, like a chakra cloak on, and she gets into her first fight, and she gets dogged immediately. Oh, that's so yeah. So because she's not that good of a fighter yet. She's still learning. So while she has the power, she's not really good at it yet, and I like that. So she has a lot of growth for her as well. Even right now, Boruto has to come in and save her, basically. So, and it's not like the Nine Tails is fully grown yet. It's still like baby Kurama. Like, he has all the memories from being with Naruto, but he's baby Kurama, so he's not really fully powered yet, basically. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'm liking it. We also get an example of when Boruto fights Kawaki. I also like this too, because if you guys remember the Boruto movie, and by you guys, I guess I mean Krypton. There was a lesson about Boruto learning hard work, basically, and how you can't just cheat your way through things. And this comes back up again in this fight, because when Boruto fights Kawaki hasn't been training. Kawaki just has been kind of coasting. But Boruto's been training nonstop since he was gone. And Kawaki is not just getting embarrassed by Boruto, he's getting embarrassed by the villains and everybody else who tries to fight him. Like even Mitsuki, who was like Boruto, who was like, Boruto Glazer in the anime. Even he's a better fighter than Kawaki is right now, basically. Wow. And so we're seeing Kawaki. I hope that the series gets to the point where Kawaki's realizing, like, I gotta actually train, because if I want to keep up, if I want to do my objective, I gotta get stronger. I just can't rest anymore.
So what you're telling me is she's the Sakura Gen 1 in this series.
Kawaki is Sakura Gen 1. So,
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of political intrigue here, and a lot of people, like, you do get to see, like, some people leave, like Shikamaru, who, we know him for being the smartest. Even he's slowly starting to put together that there's more to Boruto than, like, what he thinks. Like, he's slowly putting together that, like, listen, I don't know the full story, but I'm starting to get the vibe that, like, Boruto isn't the villain here, and that Kawaki must have done something. So we get, like, characters like that who are slowly piecing things together. And like I said, it's back to what Naruto was a lot of ways. Like, a lot of people got mad at Shippuden because it became this, like, god fest, essentially. Mm-hmm. But the show is the manga is kind of back to what Naruto was, which was a lot of, like, ninja work, conspiracies, like plots unfolding left and right, character growth, all this stuff. It's back to basics, but also so far away from basics at the same time, essentially. Mm-hmm. And I think I really appreciate about that. I highly recommend, if you were iffy on Boruto, I recommend reading the original manga. You don't have to read the anime. You don't have to watch the anime. It's fine.
You don't have, just read the manga. You hear that, audience? You don't have to read the anime.
You don't have to read you have to read the subtitles on the anime for 200 or 500 episodes. Okay, you can just read the manga. It's a lot streamlined to get the same information. You're not missing out on anything. And then go read Blue Vortex, because I think it is a drastic improvement in quality. And my thoughts are scattered all over the place because I'm trying to condense the amount of chapters we are now, which I forgot how many chapters we are right now. But if we continue doing anime night, I will be reviewing these individually, like reviewing from the latest issue onwards. But yeah, I apologize if my review is a bit all over the place. I'm trying to condense like 11 chapters of content.
Bro, that was me with my first topic, and it's gonna be me with my next topic. So don't worry, you're fine.
Yeah, but
I looked at the wiki page for Kaze, and I was like, "What the hell? What do you mean?"
Yeah.
I need to finish this damn manga. I just spoiled myself from a Wikipedia page.
Yeah, my only complaint is that it's monthly. But I do like how every issue leaves you with a question that makes you want to come back. Like, there's still stuff to talk about after every issue as well. But I would recommend jumping in on it now. If you're a Naruto fan, this is kind of where you want Naruto to be. This is kind of where Boruto shines right now. So I recommend doing it. Do it for the drip. Do the drip. For the drip. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah, give Boruto a chance.
Nah, I got better things to do.
All right. I didn't know Boruto. What do you think is gonna get me to get into fucking Boruto? Anyways, hi, I'm back again with my weird, obscure manga and anime. So I'm now talking about an anime called Dark Cat, not to be confused with Black Cat. That's a completely different thing. I'm talking about Dark Cat, which came out in the 80s. So I want to just like give you some insight on this OVA before I talk about the bullshit that's happened. So basically they tried to condense 5 chapters of a whole manga, like of a manga, right, into a hour-long OVA. So I want you to guess how well that turned out when you have a company that basically is known for doing not safe for work content, mostly with real life people, but sometimes animated. You have an English voice cast that is not that good. And basically you have the fact that not a lot of people in this industry give enough shit about shoujo, especially shoujo horror, which is what this falls under. So, and put this in an OVA, just like get it out on the shelf as quickly as humanly possible. Dark Cat got the short end of the stick. If Bride of Deimos had like a decent amount of work done, even though that didn't make sense for half of it, this got the shortest end of the fucking stick when it came to freaking OVA adaptations of shoujo horror manga. Like, where do I start? Where do I start with Dark Cat? I watched the OVA because the whole thing in both English and Japanese are on YouTube for free. All 50 minutes or so. You can watch it for free and you could suffer with me. Like I watched it on YouTube because I saw someone talk about it and I was like, you know what? I'll watch it. I'll see what the hype's about. How bad it is. It is really bad. It is really bad. Yeah. So basically they try to, like I said earlier, they try to mash up 5 episodic plot lines into a 50-minute OVA and try to make that work. It did not work. This needed to be a show. It would have done way better as a show. So, yeah. Yummy. So yeah, they were trying to it just didn't make sense. The plot didn't make sense. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? Does anyone? Okay.
Yeah, they likely didn't have the budget. They likely didn't have the budget they needed for the full episodes.
No, because they didn't give a shit enough about shoujo to actually want to put effort into this.
Yeah.
So yeah, they try to put all of volume 1 into a 50-minute OVA and try to make a plot work. Keep in mind, Dark Cat is episodic. It's kind of like Pet Shop of Horror, which came out way later than this. It came out like at least a decade later than this. And it's episodic. So there's no plot line that's supposed to work with this. And so they try to make it work with this random plot line between these 2 high schoolers, which was their own plot line in the manga of itself. You didn't need to put all the hentai imagery in this. But what I can acknowledge from this is that most of the nudity in this, even though it is basically generic body horror, like all the monsters, at least it works kinda for some of it. Not with the teacher lady though. Not with the teacher lady. Everything else, it worked for that. When it comes to the nudity of the high schoolers, which I know that sounds awful, but at least it wasn't like what they were doing with the teacher lady who got turned into a demon. The brothers are cool, I guess. I don't know. They didn't really get much to work with, unlike the mom. So basically, the brother with the black hair is Hio, and the one with the brown hair is Rio. I know, Rioi, I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know, but so they could turn into cats. Hence the name. They could turn into cats, and they have magical abilities and stuff like that, and they have to fight evil because they're the person who taught them what they know, especially for Hio or however the fuck we're pronouncing his name. Basically, Hio is like, fuck you, man. I'm gonna go actually do stuff to help people. You could be evil all you want, bestie. And so basically he does his own thing. He turns into a black cat. While when he meets Rio or Rioi, I can't remember exactly what happens when we find out how he turned into a dark cat himself. But he gets turned into a calico cat. I can't remember exactly what happens. I don't know why I'm blanking out so hard. I reread the manga for this. But if I can remember, I think he was a real human, he was just a regular old human and he passed away and then he turned into a dark cat. I think that's what happens. I'll post it on Twitter later if I can remember, but they don't bring up who the dark cats are, why they're doing what they're doing, and none of that. They don't bring up anything that would make sense for why we should actually care about these characters, all of them in general. Don't get me wrong. I like the brothers. They're pretty cool characters. Like, especially like when Hio was out of the picture for a moment and Rio had to like figure this out on his own while Hio was getting healed by like a tree spirit or whatever. Like, I liked the idea. I liked the premise. The execution was not good. Yeah.
Yep.
It did not do it justice. I'm on tvtropes.org where they talk about Dark Cat, and they brought up a whole bunch of differences from the manga to the OVA. Like, they kind of did Ryoi's character a little bit dirty. Like, yeah, he's a bit naive, you know, in the manga, but like not in the way that he kind of is in the anime. Like, I don't know. It was weird. There's a lot of perverted teachers in this, even ones that don't turn into demons for some reason. But like I said, they don't really talk about how the Dark Cats became Dark Cats in the first place. We don't even know in the anime what the fuck a Dark Cat is. We just know that there are 2 people that could turn into cats. Technically 3, but we don't have to get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they don't do this manga justice. Like, they don't. They really don't do this justice, and I'm kind of annoyed because I read the manga. The manga's pretty good for a shoujo, like an episodic shoujo horror. Like, that's part of the reason why I like the new Ultimate X-Men book as much as I do, because it's a shoujo horror, basically. But this was not done with justice. This was rushed as all hell. The English voice cast is not good. Like, did they try their best? Yeah. I looked up the voice cast after this. This was most of theirs, like, first and only roles. Okay?
Wow.
Like, some of them got like 1 or 2 more roles, but they didn't have a lot of voice acting roles. The main villain, I forgot his name, don't worry about it, it's not that important. You can't even fucking hear what he's saying half the time. Like, what? Like, I kind of want to know what he's saying, even if I don't like what he's saying. You know?
Yeah, I'm kind of.
Hi, Jake. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Oh, you know, just talking about the disservice that Dark Cat just got. Back in the early 90s with this fuck-ass OVA. It is so bad. Like, it was so bad that I had to read the manga. That's how bad it was.
Can I ask you some trivia about this? Because I'm looking at the poster right now.
Yeah, feel free.
I've seen these green and blue, like these suits right here. Is this like a real thing in Japan? Was this a real thing in Japan? These
those are just like school uniforms.
So there were actually uniforms. You had to go to school dressed like with these color coordinated suits.
I don't know about green specifically, but I know like definitely like dark blue, like navy blue and black were like common.
Oh, okay.
Even to this day.
Okay, because I saw this in here and in Yu Yu Hakusho, and I was wondering, like, is this actually like a?
I don't know about green, but I could definitely say navy blue and black.
Okay.
Also, I read the manga for Dark Cat. I liked it enough that I kind of want to cosplay Hiyoi, because I have a wig from a previous cosplay from another 80s anime. Demon City Shinjuku, by the way, where I cosplayed Mephisto. Don't worry about it. And since that wig got kind of like ratted up a little bit on the bottom, I was like, you know what? Just like do a little snip in here and here, and I can make the faux hair cat ears that he has, because Hiyoi has a lot more cat features to his human form rather than Rio. I think it's because Hio is so much older, because it is implied that Hio is at least a couple hundred years old, while Rio is like a lot younger, probably.
Which one is that? Is that the black-haired one or the?
So
brown?
Hio is the black-haired one. Rio is the brown-haired one.
And
so another way that you can tell is when they turn into cats. Hio can turn into a black cat, while Rio can turn into a calico cat.
Okay, and you want to cosplay as which one?
The black-haired one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry if I didn't make that clear earlier.
Yeah.
But no, like I mentioned before, this was done by a studio that is known for doing a lot of not safe for work content. They have done hentai before. They do a lot of like screen acting role, like not safe for work content.
Typing them in.
Typing them in. But like what else? Oh, the body horror. I don't know why there are so many phallic-looking demon tentacles in this OVA. I know that there was some body horror in the manga. Like, I know there was. I read the manga. But like, choices were made. Like I said earlier, some of the plot lines from the manga overlaps in the freaking OVA that just did not really make sense. Like, there was a scene in the OVA where there was a teacher that was basically mind controlling all of her students, and Rio was like, "What the hell's happening here?" And that's a plot line from the manga where the teacher in question turns into like this giant eyeball demon monster thing. We didn't get the giant eyeball demon monster thing. However, that same teacher also uses like her she basically hypnotizes Rio for a quick moment, which that was most like subtext in the manga, but it was definitely text here. They basically portrayed Rio as like this really naive character, and yeah, he's naive, but like he can still do things, you know. But like, I don't know, they just did not do this justice, and I'm annoyed. If they ever decided in the future to remake this, they need to make it a show like they did with Pet Shop of Horrors, which I do also like. I need to read the manga for that as well. Yeah, this needs to be done justice. This, I would also kind of like to see Kazuki also get remastered, since The Rose of Versailles is getting remastered into a movie. I think it's time. Like, since Dororo turned out so well back in like 2019, I think, and since Rose of Versailles is also getting updated as well into like fresher technology, I guess you could say, fresher animation, I feel like it's time to give like Dark Cat a second chance. You know, I feel like it deserves it. It deserved way better than being done by whatever the fuck this was. Yeah, it deserved. Like, I know it can be put into the right hands. Apparently, the writer for Kamen Rider worked on this for some reason.
Whoa!
Allegedly, I don't know, but yeah. Hashtag justice for Dark Cats. Dark Cats unite. Okay, that's it. I just wanted to do that. There's a scene where I thought it was really funny, where one of them is like, "We got to get out of here," and then they immediately jump out of a window and turn to cats, and all you hear is like, "Rawr!" That's all you hear. Also, by the way, one of the voice actors sounded like he recorded his dialogue across the room from the microphone. That's how bad this English dub was. A lot of it was wooden as hell. Like, I can forgive wooden dialogue, you know, voice acting and all that other stuff. Like, I watched Gravitation, okay? But like, this was just bad. This was bad voice acting.
Yeah, that's
bad voice acting, bad production. Justice for Dark Cat. Go read the manga. This anime was so bad that I had to go read the manga to see how bad it was. Yeah. Cryptid, do we have time for one more, or should we end it?
Hang on. We can't have time for one more. But I should warn you, if we end it right here, this will be our first episode that is an hour and 30 minutes long.
You know what?
Want to save it for next time, which?
I don't know. I mean, I keep it really brief, but
we can make Phanatic history, or we can risk it all.
I mean, we've done it before where we make it under an hour 30. Like, we've done it before.
Did we?
Nah,
yeah, we have multiple times.
Well, I think it was like on movie nights where we get to like an hour. That was it.
No, like for shows and movies, like we made it under an hour.
Oh, for those reviews. Oh, did we?
Those are reviews of like full-on shows.
Oh.
So that's why I'm asking, do we have time for one more?
Oh, no, we have time. I'm just messing with you. It's really up to you. I don't care. Do what you want.
Because I kind of want to get into this really quickly because I brought it up prior to ranting about Dark Cat for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. No, wait, no. I don't care either way. I'm just messing with you. You do what you
want. Gotcha. All right.
I don't know if you put it up the picture, but it's okay. You know. Oh, you did! Yay!
Yeah.
So that's from the manga. I have one more book one more OVA I want to briefly talk about because I also started reading this manga. So I'm going to be briefly talking about the OVA for Bride of Deimos, which also is a shoujo horror manga that came out in the 70s. But I'm going to be talking about the OVA because that's the one I've indulged the most time into. You know, I need to read the manga some more. I started reading it. So basically, all you need to know is that there's this girl named Minako. I think that's what her name was. Hold on. Yeah, her name's Minako, and basically she's being pestered by Deimos, who you could see who has the really long legs. He has a demon form too, but I didn't want to do the demon form picture. I wanted to do this one. So basically, the OVA, I'm assuming, takes a small part of the manga. So basically, it's called Bride of Deimos, The Orchid Suite, and it was released in the late 80s. Funny enough, produced by Madhouse of all people. So basically, it's about a brother and sister who live in seclusion, and they basically breed this one like breed of orchid flower that is like really fucking pretty, that wins all the competitions and everything. So basically, Minako and like a friend of hers, you know, they want to investigate. They want to see what's up with this damn flower. So we get briefly introduced to Deimos in this. We get introduced to him at the beginning, where basically his sister, lover, don't quote me on that, I don't remember. Basically, she's like, go get me a new body. My current body is rotting. And he's like, okay. So he finds this Minako girl, and he's like, hey, you know what's good? You belong to me. You know, like, you are my bride. And she's like, fuck that. They don't really briefly bring up their quote unquote relationship, but they bring it up more in the manga, but we'll get to that later. So going back to it, so not long after they originally see this orchid, the friend of Minako goes missing. Okay, so Minako's trying to figure this out. You know, she investigates personally. She meets the brother. She's like, yo, you gotta get, like, he's like, you gotta get out of here, you know, like, you can't be here. And so she's like, dang. But keep in mind, she keeps coming back anyways. She needs to find information. She sees her friend's notebook, and she's like, ooh, something fishy's here. So I think she calls, like, the police or something to, like, try to figure this out. But guess what? They don't, like, the police don't find any dirt on it, on the brother and sister. We find out in this OVA that the sister is basically killing people and burning them in, like, this incinerator to use as fertilizer for this orchid flower. And basically she's forcing the brother to tag along. So Minako finds this, and all hell breaks loose, and basically the house goes up in flames. Minako's able to escape. The brother and sister die together. So that's basically the OVA. I wish we would have gotten more of Deimos, hence the name. I started reading the manga because of the OVA not talking much, like, not bringing up much on Deimos himself. And we do get more on why Deimos is doing what he does. Basically, half the time in the manga, it's Minako's doing something. She wants to go do something, or something. She's like doing something. She notices something's off, and she's like, this is literally her, okay? Like, just imagine it. Just imagine a pretty anime girl with her hands on her cheeks being like, oh, Deimos. That's basically half of what she does. So, yeah, that's basically it. I wish they would have done more with this, with the OVA of Bride of Deimos, because I did like it. I loved how they updated the art style from the 70s to the 80s, you know, with this, like, gothic art style.
Yep.
Can't say the same for Dark Cat, you know, but, you know, you win some, you lose some. That's basically it. I actually like the Bride of Deimos OVA. It actually looks like some care was put into it, unlike Dark Cat, which was basically dog shit, ran over 20 times, and left in the hot ass Arizona heat for 3 days. Justice for Dark Cat. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, that's it.
Yep.
That was Bride of Deimos. I wanted to be quick with that.
Gotcha.
Quick, you said.
Well,
oh, gentlemen, it looks like we finished with an hour and 34 minutes, which
Not
was
bad.
correct. I checked back. We have finished faster, so we did 51 minutes before. So
Gotcha.
that was actually for your Dragon Prince review. By the way.
Oh wow.
Yeah, your Dragon
Yeah,
Prince
we also
review.
done less for both Castlevania Nocturne and the freaking Glorious Masquerade event in Twist Wonderland, which you interrupted, Jake.
Not true. But it's time to wrap up the episode. So here we are. Hopefully you enjoyed this. We'll see if we do this again. We have to talk about. But yeah, it is what it is. And remember, Paul was right.
Justice Dark Cat. Dark Cat tonight.
Jake Paul was right in the east, but not the Paul in the west. All right. Well, we'll see y'all later, audience. Bye.